So today we're reading from Śrimadh Bhagwatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, text number 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah, the verses 3, 13, 10, Bhagavatam. Etavati Atmajai Vira Karya Hi Apachiti Gurau Shaktya Apamatai Griyeta Sādaram Gata Matsarai Etavat Yat Majar Vera Karyahya Prachatir Gurau 3:13:10 Satya Pramattair Grihyeta Sadaram Gatamatsarai Etavat Yat Majair Vera Karyahya Pachitir Gurau Satya Pramattair Grihyeta Sadarangata Matsarai Etavat Yat Majair Vera Karyahya Pachitir Gurau Sakya Pramattar Grihyeta Sadaramgata Matsarai Etgavat Yat Majair Vera Karyahya Pachitir Gurau Sakya Pramatar Grihyeta Sadaram Gata Matsarai Etavyat Yat Majair Vera Karyahya Pachitir Gurau Satya Pramatar Grihyeta Sadaram Gata Matsarai Etavati. Just exactly like this. Atmajai, by the offspring. Vera, O hero. Karya, should be performed. He, certainly. Apachati, worship. Gurau, unto the superior. Shaktya, with full capacity. Abramattai, by the sane. Grihyeta, should be accepted. Sādaram, with great delight. Gata, Matsarai, by those who are beyond the limit of envy. Translation and purport. By His divine grace, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Padivajakacarnija Astatarasadashi Śrimadh A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tri Dandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. O hero, your example is quite befitting a son in relationship with his father. This is Lord Brahma speaking to Manu. This sort of adoration for the superior is acquired. One who is beyond the limit of envy and who is sane accepts the order of his father with great delight and executes it to his full capacity. Purport. When the four previous sons of Brahma, the sages Sanaka, Sanatan, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara, refused to obey their father Brahma, Brahma was mortified and his anger was manifested in the shape of Rudra. That incident was not forgotten by Brahma, and therefore the obedience of Manu, Swayambhuva, was very encouraging. From the material point of view, the four sages' disobedience to the order of their father was certainly abominable, but because such a disobedience was for a higher purpose, they were free from the reaction of disobedience. Those who disobey their father on material grounds, however, are surely subjected to disciplinary reactions for such disobedience. Manu's obedience to his father on material grounds was certainly free from envy, and in the material world it is imperative for ordinary men to follow the example of Manu. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pandunam Yagate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinataranam. So, Prabhupada is making it very clear in the material world, you don't disobey your father. If you do, you're subject to karmic reactions. However, if you disobey your father for a spiritual purpose, such as surrendering to Krishna, then there's no bad reaction. In fact, you're blessed by Krishna. So many young boys and girls, they give up the order of their parents and they became disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So they're not getting punished for that, they're being rewarded for that. But as long as one is in the material world, if one is not surrendered to Krishna, there are certain karmic obligations, or moral obligations, and obeying one's father is one of them. Of course, even for one who surrenders to Krishna, he tries to please the father as much as possible, giving him prasadam, nice, sweet dealings, etc. It's not that becoming a surrender to Krishna allows you to become a ruffian or some kind of a scoundrel in the material world. Prabhupada was asked, how will you recognize a Krishna conscious person? Prabhupada said, a perfect gentleman. And Srila Prabhupada certainly exemplified that by his activities wherever he went all over the world, dealing with devotees, dealing with non-devotees. He was always a perfect gentleman. So we have to learn how to behave properly, actually. This is a point of today's verse. You behave properly with those you're supposed to behave properly with. Especially for us who have taken shelter of Krishna and Guru, we have entered into a spiritual family. In fact, that is one of the items of surrender, to become a member of a spiritual family. So we have to deal with the devotees as family members. And that means there has to be proper respectful dealings, a proper tone of voice when speaking, etc., etc. Not that we treat them like some bunch of jerks, but we actually appreciate that these are sadhus, and I must get their blessings by serving them nicely. Sadhu sangha sarva sadhu sangha sarva shatrakai bhavamatra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. The association of devotees is so important, it can bestow all blessings upon all perfections can be achieved simply by associating with devotees in the proper mood. So we should take full advantage of this Krishna consciousness movement. It's giving us very, very good opportunity how to associate with devotees. There's devotees who are more advanced, devotees equally advanced, and devotees less advanced. Those who are more advanced, we bow down at their feet and beg for their mercy, their blessings. Those who are equally advanced, it's a hugging, embracing mood of friendship. And those who are less advanced, we give them our kindness, our blessings, our mercy to help them come out of the darkness of ignorance and actually become fixed up in Krishna consciousness. So, this process is very powerful. If one follows it according to the wonderful, potent instructions of His Divine Grace, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivajrakacharya Asta Taratadashi Śrimadh A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, he will become Pakka Vaishnava. Solid, Pakka means solid, very solidly fixed up. You can be flaky, kind of like you're blown with the winds this way and that way. You're not solid. The solid devotee, doesn't matter what's happening, however the winds of show nature are blowing, whichever mode is predominant at the time. You see, in our atmospheres, wherever we go, there's different modes. Sometimes the mode of goodness is prominent, sometimes the mode of passion is prominent, sometimes the mode of ignorance is prominent. But if you're fixed in Krishna consciousness, by taking shelter of Guru and Krishna and Vaishnavas very seriously, then you will be transcendental to all the material atmospheres. You can be in a sattvic environment and be Krishna conscious, a rajasic atmosphere and be Krishna conscious, even a tamasic atmosphere and be Krishna conscious. So how do you achieve this state of fixity in Krishna consciousness? Well, you have to understand the necessity of it. That's the first thing. This is what I need. Until I come to this stage of being fixed in Krishna consciousness, I'm just going to be frustrated. That's all. I'll be frustrated, you see. Because the fish belongs in the water, isn't it? You see? So, if he's on the beach, he's going to be flapping in agony. Flapping in the pain on the beach, you see. So right now, we're flapping in agony on the beach, and we have to get back into the water. So the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, they pick us up and throw us back in the water. But the difficulty is, when they pick us up, we salute out of their hands and stay on the beach, you see. This is why one has to take shelter of Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas. Because the fixed up devotees, we're talking about immature devotees, but those who are actually sober, fixed up devotees, they know the art of delivering us from this material existence. They know how to engage us in pure devotional service. So when we have that opportunity to associate with advanced devotees, with bona fide spiritual master, with Krishna, you see, we should take full advantage of that and become very, pliable, perhaps is the word, agreeable. In other words, however they want us to serve, we just take up that mood. We just take up whatever mood they want us to be in, however they want us to serve, wherever they want us to serve, in what consciousness they want us to serve. We adjust everything to please the Vaishnavas. Because the Vaishnavas are in tune with Krishna. And when we're in tune with the Vaishnavas, and we're in tune with Krishna. So we take advantage of this process by engaging in devotional service in a way that is pleasing Krishna very much. In other words, a loving mood, not a begrudging mood. I don't want to do that service, but he forced me to do it, I'll do it. But no, really taking it seriously. This is for Krishna. I want to do a first-class job of this particular service. It'd be very first-class. So strive to see those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness, they are perfectionists. They're striving for perfection in all their activities, their thoughts, their words, their deeds, in all times, places, and circumstances. They want to become perfect. because actually that perfection enables one to experience Krishna directly. It is only, Krishna is actually present right now, but it's simply due to our imperfections that we're not experiencing His presence. We're simply experiencing His external energy, the material nature. But when you purify your consciousness, then you can go beyond material nature and directly associate with Krishna. You see? So that's the most desirable association you could ever expect to have in all of eternity. To be able to directly associate with God Himself through the process of disciplic succession is the greatest boon. So Prabhupada is enabling us how we can pray to Krishna directly and become happy in Krishna consciousness. This is all through the medium of the spiritual master. So it's not that we jump over ahead of the spiritual master, but he engages us in how we can directly approach Krishna. Just like that mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is directly serving Radha and Krishna. And Prabhupada also taught us to chant this mantra first. Before we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we chant the Panchatattva mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Why? Because by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we're given the access to Krishna. You see? Not that we jump over the head of Lord Chaitanya. He's the most merciful manifestation of Krishna, who's teaching us how we can directly approach Krishna in the spiritual world and regain our lost relationship, our rasa that we once had with Him when we foolishly gave up. So it's all here in full detail. If you study these books, which are a virtual encyclopedia of information and knowledge and blessings, if you regularly read these books of Srila Prabhupada and try to follow them, begging Krishna to help you become a fixed-up devotee, you see, if you take this up with determination, enthusiasm, and patience, because it will take time. You see, if you have to be very determined, very patient, very enthusiastic, and then in due course of time, you'll actually reach that stage where you can directly experience Krishna. And you'll have no material desires in your heart. You'll just enter into His pastimes in the spiritual world to serve Him eternally. Or if He wants you to come here and preach, you'll do that too. You're completely transcendental. This is Prabhupada was ordered here. You go there and write those books. He was ordered by Krishna to come here and write these books that we have. So one can serve either in the spiritual world or the material world. If you're purely fixed in Krishna consciousness, it doesn't matter where you are because you're in the spiritual world anyway by dint of your consciousness. So, we have a few minutes left, quite a few minutes left in fact. If there's any questions coming in, feel free to ask them. And yes?
So, Rudra was, the Brahma was angry that the son would be...
He is the product of, he was born from the anger of Lord Brahma, that's right. Lord Shiva or Rudra came from the anger of Lord Brahma. And the four Kumars refused to get married. They said, "No, we're staying brahmachari." See, Brahma had a duty to populate the whole universe. That's his job, his duty. He's the creator, so he has to fill in the whole universe. And his four sons said, "No way, we're going to be brahmacharis." So he became angry. The spiritual master gives the disciple an order, and the spiritual says, "No, Gurudev, I won't do it." The spiritual master's duty is to get angry and chastise the disciple. So it's not that he's overwhelmed by anger, but he's using anger in the service of Krishna. Krodhavegam, the urge to be angry, can be used in Krishna's service. So it's not that. Just like one time somebody was amazed, some reporter said, "I like your Swamiji very much. Why does he get so angry sometimes?" Somebody couldn't understand Prabhupada's anger. But this is divine anger. When the senior devotees, Guru and senior Vaishnava get angry, that is for instructing us and teaching us. It's not that they're overwhelmed by anger, but they're using anger in the service of Krishna to help us to come out of illusion, come out of Maya. Of course, so there was some transcendental result from Brahma's anger, because he's a great devotee of the Lord. That was the appearance of Lord Shiva, a pure devotee. So,
isn't it also shows that it shows everything is teaching. because Brahmaji became angry, and from anger, he developed a lust, and was annoyed by his own daughter. Can we see that way?
Yeah.
The anger is like,
You can also see that Brahma, he went from anger to lust, as Guru Maharaji is pointing out. So that's a danger. If one is going to use anger in Krishna's service, to be very careful. If there's any tinge of material consciousness, then it will actually pollute you. So one has to be very careful. If one is a spiritual master and senior devotees, to be very careful when they utilize anger in Krishna's service, so they don't become overwhelmed by it. Because it's a very powerful thing. Anger is very powerful. Okay, now a question from Aniruddha. And there are three names listed here. I don't know who's asking the question. Aniruddha, Vijay, and Bhargavi. Oh, Aniruddha is asking, okay. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. After studying for many years, when we get a job, if we just use the money we get in Krishna's service, then all the time we spent studying, it becomes spiritualized. Yes, but yeah, that's true. You spend the money Krishna consciously, and that purifies all the years you spent studying to get that degree so you can get that job. That's right, it purifies all that stuff. Okay, next question. Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. How to fix our mind fully on Krishna in this material world? Well, you rise early in the morning, you chant 16 rounds of japa. You attend Mangal Arti at the temple, or you have a Mangal Arti at home, singing the Gavastikam prayers and offering some articles to your spiritual master, or to Srila Prabhupada if you're not initiated yet. If you are initiated, you offer to your Guru and to Srila Prabhupada. So that to have that Mangal Arti at home, sing Gavastikam prayers, japa and Gavastikam, very powerful way to begin the day. You strictly avoid illicit sex life, eating, intoxication, and gambling. You only eat foods which have been offered to Krishna. You absorb your mind as far as possible, thinking of Krishna in every situation. You offer the result of your job, namely your income, in the service of Krishna, as much as possible. So in this way, if you practically engage in devotional service, then your mind will naturally be fixed. But if you engage in sense gratification, you won't be able to fix your mind. You have to engage yourself in devotional service 24 hours a day, and then your mind is automatically fixed on Krishna. Hare Krishna Das. Srila Gurudev, kindly enlighten your grace said Krishna is directly present, but our imperfections are blocking us from that vision. Kindly tell us the best way to remove all imperfections. Well, you have to totally surrender, that's all. As Prabhupada told me, now you disqualify yourself to see Krishna face to face. That doesn't come by some yogic manipulation. That comes by total, complete surrender to the order of Guru and Krishna. That's how you become qualified to experience Krishna directly, wherever you go at every minute. Gandharvaka Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisance, Srila Gurudev and Guru Maharaji. Perfect gentleman helps physically for parents if they ask or not necessary to help for the material needs. Say a mother asks, please do this for me, please do that for me. Well, if you can utilize it as an opportunity to preach to your mother, then that's good. But if it's not practical, it's interfering with your devotional service, then that's all right too. You don't have to do things. But you can always take it as a preaching opportunity as well. Make your mother a devotee. But to be, once you surrender to Krishna, you're not under the authority, you're not obliged actually to serve any material relatives anymore. Your only obligation is to serve Guru and Krishna. But you may do it sometimes for preaching opportunity, to give them prasadam, to preach to them, etc. Try to liberate them. Suzanne, Hare Krishna, where can we find, here. I'm not seeing the whole. That's something cut off here. Now, where can we find the chant to Nityananda? Oh, Lord Nityananda is included in the Panchatattva mantra. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. That's called the Panchatattva mantra. That's what we chant before our rounds, and you can find it all over Prabhupada's books. If you can't find it, just let me know. I can email you the mantra. But that's Jaya, and then Shri Krishna Chaitanya, and then Prabhu Nityananda, and then Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay. Aniruddha, Srila Gurudev is using money in Krishna's service as purifying as chanting and other devotional activities. It can be. Any devotional activity can be equally as purifying. It all depends on the quality of how you engage it. That's it. But especially in this age, the chanting is powerful and potent. So we have, not that we give up chanting in the name of just working and giving money in Krishna's service. The chanting is essential, absolutely required. Bhakta Akil. Srila Gurudev, please help. Even though we have that desire to practice Krishna consciousness, why Maya is trying to interrupt us? It's her duty. She's actually a pure devotee of Krishna.
Because our purpose is not strong.
Yes, this is you reminded me. I was there with Prabhupada. Reminds me, I was there with Srila Prabhupada in New Vrindavan, and one hippie boy who came actually from our temple in Gainesville, asked Prabhupada this question. Our purpose is to be Krishna conscious. And why is Maya so strong? Prabhupada said, because your purpose is not strong. Immediately Prabhupada, boom, gave a very brilliant answer. And everybody was impressed.
If you take Krishna consciousness, then Krishna can remove the Maya.
Yeah, Maya is interrupting because your desire is weak. Your desire to practice Krishna consciousness is weak, and that's when Maya interrupts you, you see. But when you have your desire to serve Krishna is strong, Maya says, okay, fine, I'm not going to mess with you. You see, Maya is a... Maya's job, she is the, what we call, in a tavern they have what's called a bouncer to keep the rowdies out of the tavern, of the bar. So Maya is the bouncer. Keep all the nonsense away. You're making a show of being devotees, but they're not really devotees. They're actually a disturbance to Krishna, so Maya bounces them away. She gets rid of them. Maya is actually a pure devotee. When she sees that you're absolutely sincere and pure in your desire, she will not try to divert you anymore. She'll actually help you to surrender to Krishna. But in the beginning stages, when we're kind of iffy, should I be a devotee? Should I not be a devotee? Maya is there. When we become too iffy, she pulls us away. You're too iffy to get close to Krishna. Let me keep you away from him. But Maya is actually a pure devotee. Okay. Krishna Mayi. Srila Gurudev should be chanting more rounds than we are in Vrindavan, and if so, how many rounds? As many as you can. If you can do 64 every day when you're in Vrindavan, you're going to make tremendous advancement. You can do, if you can do 32, do as many as you can. You're 16, of course, you'll do, but do as many extra rounds as possible. The more, the merrier. Even if you get up to 64, that's very good. Huh?
32 rounds.
Guru Maharaji said, 32 rounds is the instruction. 32 rounds. Okay.
When I first went to Vrindavan,
in Vrindavan,
I was told to chant 32 rounds.
By who? By your spiritual master? Yeah, Vrindavan, everything is magnified 1,000 times. Whatever devotional service you do, you get 1,000 times benefit. Whatever offenses you commit, you get 1,000 times detriment. So one should be very careful in Vrindavan not to make any offenses, be very pure, and to make tremendous advancement in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Bhakta Akio, Srila Gurudev, I'm 17 years old and sex attraction is my greatest enemy. Yeah, it's, I can understand that, especially in our Western culture. And Western culture is all over the world now. Sex life is glorified, unbelievable amounts. You see. It's like all the songs are glorifying sex, and the movies, the magazines, everything is sex, 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 sex. And we're being exposed to this again and again, day in and day out. It's just in the atmosphere, it's everywhere. The way people dress, you go to the store, the way people are dressing, I mean, it's just everything, it's everywhere. Even they use sex to sell toothpaste. I remember when I was a kid, there was a popular toothpaste, I think it went out of business. It did, I'm glad. It was called Ultra Bright. And the famous ad on TV was, new Ultra Bright toothpaste gives your mouth sex appeal. Can you imagine? And we're looking at a little kid, hasn't even gotten puberty yet, and he's hearing, if I use Ultra Bright toothpaste, my mouth will have sex appeal. I mean, what kind of garbage are we being propagandized with? So, it's natural then that, from all this propaganda. But here's a nice verse about the Akio. This is from Jamunacharya. This is a wonderful, wonderful verse. Jamunacharya previously was a king, and in those days in India, king meant big harem, and big harem means you can have sex with all the girls. You can have, 30 kids. The king can have 30 princes, you see, and by impregnating 30 of the maidens, palace maidens. So it was quite a facility for sex pleasure. And they were young, beautiful girls also. So, but then he became a sadhu. He gave up all that. But sometimes he would think about that sex pleasure he had had, and he came up with a wonderful way of dealing with it, which he gives very nicely for us in this verse. Yadavadi mamma cheta Krishna padaravinde nava nava rasadhamunyatarantu masit tadavati bhattanari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukha vikara shushtu vishushti shushtu shushtu nishtivanamcha. Yeah. Ever since I've been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna, tasting nava nava rasa, ever increasing sweetness in that service, whatever due to my past nefarious activities in the royal order of life, I think about those days when I had sex with all those palace girls. My lips curl with this taste, and I spit at the thought. So you got to be a good spitter. Really, you just got to be a damn good spitter. Not literally, but inside. You see, you have to be a good spitter. Especially those of us who joined the movement back in the '60s. We were all from the hippie movement, and then sex. Every hippie girl was willing to have sex with every hippie boy. It was like that. It was a heavy, heavy distraction. And so, especially those of us who joined from the hippie movement, we have to be good spitters. Those memories come back. So that's what I reckon, be a good spitter. And every time sex attraction comes, spit at it. Spit at the damn thing. Gandharva-Gededidasi. How to listen to Śrimadh Bhagwatam lectures every day, but not all of them are so enlivening. Well, that means you are in Maya, because every word of Bhagavatam is enlivening. You're in Maya, Gandharvika. You have to get out of Maya, because every syllable of Bhagavatam is enlivening. You have to learn how to appreciate anyone's Bhagavatam classes. If anyone is speaking the Bhagavatam as it is, they're not introducing some bogus philosophy. Every syllable is Krishna himself. So this is your nonsense, Gandharvika. It's your stupid nonsense. You have to get off this plane of thinking some classes are enlivening and some classes are not enlivening. every word of Bhagavatam is unlimitedly enlivening. So get out of Maya and bring your mind under control and hear nicely. A little chastisement. Okay. Now we have Pavitra Devi Dasi. Srila Gurudev, please guide what is the meaning of spending money in a Krishna conscious way. Does it mean giving charity to the temple? Yes. That's the easiest way. And if you spend the money in your own home, when you buy food, you have to offer to Krishna. You see? You have to make your own home a Krishna conscious atmosphere. And then when you pay your rent, you're maintaining a place of worship. So you have to make your own living place, a place where you chant Hare Krishna, you offer an arti, you offer your food, you have an altar, like this. But not all words are from Bhagavatam. Well, you're trying to argue against my instruction, aren't you? That's another chastisement for you. You have to understand my point. Any word, if someone is speaking, it's like I'm talking here. Not every word is being read from the Bhagavatam, but every word is supporting the conclusion of Bhagavatam. So even though they're not reading the purport, they're not reading the verse throughout the entire class, and they're giving so many talks about this thing and that thing, because those are presenting the essence of Bhagavatam, the lifestyle of Bhagavatam, etc. And all those words are Bhagavatam. The book Bhagavatam is there, and words which glorify and expand the understanding of the book Bhagavatam, they are also Bhagavatam. Leela Manjari. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. How does one come to the point of that level of surrender that one is not affected by anything? Well, you have to beg for it. You have to endeavor to become completely humble, totally sold-out servant of Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas. You have to hanker for it and beg for it. And discipline your mind, discipline your words, discipline your actions. You're always thinking, speaking, and acting in a way that is fully pleasing to Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas. One has to endeavor in that way, and then Krishna will reciprocate by helping you, just like he states in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satati yuktanam Vajatam patti purvakam tadami buddha yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So that's what you have to do, Leela Manjari. For those who are constantly devoted, you have to always keep that mood of devotion. I must always be in this mood of being devoted to Krishna. You have to tell yourself, remind yourself, you have to do everything for the pleasure of Krishna. And this is very nicely explained by the Lord himself. Yad kadoshi yadishnasi, yad dahosi dadati yad, yad tapashati tomteya, tat kadushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, as well as whatever austerities you may perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me. You study the Bhagavad Gita and try to apply it. If you're having a hard time applying it, you got to study it more. You're not studying enough. If you're not seeing how to apply it in every situation, you haven't studied the Bhagavad Gita enough. So increase your studies, and keep that studying going. You see, regularly studying Gita, Bhagavatam, all these books. The more you study these books, the more you have a vision of how to practice them in every circumstance. If you're good at how to practice them in every circumstance, you're not hearing enough, you're not reading enough. Okay. Guru Manaji has a question now.
Saturday, Sunday, devotees are not working. Then we have a small number on the internet. But on weekdays, we get a good number.
Guru Manaji has a question, and I don't know who's going to answer that question, but she's saying on the weekdays when everyone is working, we actually had 50 people. A minute ago we had actually 52 of us. Now we're down to 50 because there's 2 audience here. We had 52 people attending the class. 50 online and the 2 of us sitting here listening to the class. We had 52, which is a very good number. Why on the weekends when people are free, we're down to like half. if anybody wants, those of you who are here now who weren't here on the weekend, you can tell us why.
We don't need why, but why is it?
Oh, but she doesn't want why. Okay, then forget it. Okay, next question.
What is the reason that fewer devotees come on weekend?
What is the reason that fewer devotees come on the weekend? So if anybody, those who are here now who aren't here on the weekend, you can tell us in the little comment place why you're here now, but you weren't here on the weekend, so we can understand what is going on. Dr. Chentil, Hare Krishna Srila Gurudev, is it possible to continue practicing Krishna consciousness without falling down even for a struggling neophyte? Absolutely possible. If you take this process very seriously, that I'm going to chant 16 rounds, I'm going to strictly follow the regular principles, I'm going to get initiated as soon as possible, and I'm going to take the order of my Guru Maharaj as my very life and soul, then you'll never fall down. You'll never fall down.
But Krishna gives concession, even just in case accidentally you fall down, that you pick up yourself right away. Krishna forgives, Krishna says you are still a sadhu.
Even if you ever fall down, you pick yourself up, then you're still considered saintly. Suzanne, can we serve the non-devotee husband as if he is a devotee, because everyone is a potential devotee in dormancy? We're supposed to respect our husband. Yes, you should serve your husband very nicely, so that he becomes inspired to become a devotee. It's not that you should take good care of your husband. Do your worldly duties nicely. Guru Maharaj says as long as he's favorable. So what, if he's not favorable, what to do? We have to break the principle. We have this problem actually. I have one lady has written me that her husband wants illicit sex, and if she doesn't give in to him, he'll break the marriage basically. What would you say for that woman? It's a difficult situation. But I told her, maybe I should tell her more, but I told her, just pray to Krishna to help you and try to and preach to him. It's a very difficult situation. She may be, the husband may leave, and it'll be a divorce and a horrible, very difficult situation for her materially. This is very problematic. On the other side, as a husband, that's an easy one to do, but who wants to have sex with his wife? I said, just get separate beds, separate bedrooms, problem solved. With the husband, it's easy to solve his problem. The wife is a very difficult situation. You see, the husband's going to give her up, divorce her. You see, so it's difficult. The thing is, you have to preach to your husband if he wants to break the principles. You have to wean him from that bad habit and bring him to a higher platform. That's what I advise the women to do. Not that I tell all the women to get divorces, because that's against Vedic culture also. It's a difficult situation when a woman has a husband who wants illicit sex. It's a very difficult situation. So anything else? We still got 2 minutes. Okay. Let's see if we have anything else. Oh, there's more coming in. All right. No more questions now. I got enough. Amala Purana. Let's see. Hare Krishna Das is speculating that it may be temple services. Well, we want those who actually didn't come on the weekend to tell why not. We want to speculate. Okay. Amala, if it was all temple services, I'd be amazed. And that was the reason. Maybe they're all going to the temple, and maybe that's the reason. If it is, it's a good excuse. Okay, Amala Prana, Srila Gurudev, there's always a fear in the heart that I might fall down. Very good. Keep that, one should always have that fear I might fall down. Keep that fear alive at every minute. That's a very good fear to have. I pray to Krishna to not let this happen. What to do about this fear? You're doing the right thing. Just keep praying. What is that Prabhupada said, I'm always praying to Krishna that I won't fall down. There's some prayer like from Prabhupada like that, or one of the great acharyas. So yeah, it's very good to have the fear of falling down. Always, Krishna, please protect me, please protect me. Please protect me from falling down. It's very good.
And keep the determination, I will not fall down.
And you also have the determination. I don't care what's going to happen. I don't care how many temptations may come. I'm going to spit at them, and I'm going to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. So have your own determination. At the same time, keep begging is also. Both are very good. Okay, last question now. It looks like. Yeah, last one. Oh, in Suzanne's case, the husband likes to eat meat. Well, at least you can start off by weaning him from beef. But actually, you need to eventually wean him from you having to cook it. That's what you need to do. You need to engineer that as your goal.
He can get it from Kentucky Fried or McDonald's.
Have him go get McDonald's or Kentucky Fried to get his meat. You should avoid cooking it, that's the point. The thing is, you make very nice prasadam and preach about prasadam. You have an altar and you preach it, get him hooked on prasadam and he'll forget that meat. And there are different things you can do, like you can make paneer, which is, that cheese. You can make paneer pakoras. It's almost like fried chicken, There's different things you can do. Paneer pakoras are like fried chicken. That can help him, wean him from his dirty habit. Okay, and Bhargavi, Hare Krishna Shri Gurudev. How can I spit the thought of sex attraction when I'm not tasting nava rasa at every minute? Just spit at it anyway. Just even if you're not tasting nava rasa, spit at it anyway. You have your intelligence. Even though I'm not tasting the full nectar of Krishna consciousness yet.
What question is that?
This is Bhargavi. Bhargavi, yes. Yeah. Even if you're not tasting nava rasa or ever increasing nectar in the name, spit at it anyway, because you know it's bad for you. Mr. Lust, get out. Spit at you. Get out of here, you nonsense rascal. You're trying to that boy over there, spit.
I would warn Bhargavi, you are too young right now to say that, but be careful.
You're too young to do what? To spit?
To say this, that she is never finding nava rasa. But she has to be careful, watchful about her tendency. She is only 16.
16-year-old girl. Yeah, this is a time when your sex desire is very strong, so you have to understand this is, you got to bring it under control. That time, a 16-year-old girl, sex attraction is naturally very strong at that time. See, it's okay. Be aloof from it. It's not you. You're not your mind, Bhargavi.
Not to be proud.
Don't be proud, be humble. And just take shelter of Krishna. And your mind will become peaceful. In other words, Krishna consciousness is better than sex. In the material world, sex is the number one pleasure. Everybody's running sex. Playboy magazine, making millions of dollars. People are running after sex. Now they have porno. It's very, very popular. All these things, sex in movies. People like that. They're attracted to it. That's the number one pleasure. But you have to understand, Krishna consciousness is millions and billions of times more pleasurable than sex pleasure. So even though you're not tasting nava rasa yet, you have to cultivate nava rasa. You have to beg Krishna to help you awaken that pure love of God within your heart. Keep begging for it, and then nava rasa will come in due course. You have to know how to go about getting nava rasa, that ever-increasing taste.
And
Guru Maharaji wants to add some points now. Yes, Guru Maharaji, please.
Ask Krishna. Why she says that she is not having nava rasa? Is she engaged in that activity?
Engaged in what?
In that activity, that she is not finding nava rasa.
Are you having illicit sex relations? That Guru Maharaji is asking. That's a public question?
Otherwise, how she knows that she is not finding nava rasa?
Guru Maharaji wants to know why you're not getting nava rasa. Are you doing some sinful activities to pollute your consciousness? That's the question. Why are you not tasting Nava Nava Rasa? Suzanne says that he does the cooking. Well, that's all right, let him do it. But you give him the better taste of Prashadam. You give up that meat cooking. Yeah, and separate utensils. What you cook for Krishna should never have meat touched it. You have to have a separate, he has his own separate cooking utensils for his nonsense meat eating. You have separate cooking, separate spoons, everything's separate. Everything you cook for Krishna, meat should have never touched it. Okay, so we're not getting an answer from Bhargavi right now, and our time is up. We're actually 5 minutes over. So let's see if she's going to give an answer.
No, tomorrow.
Okay, here we go. I'm chanting 16 rounds and following the 4 regular principles and associating the devotees with the temple. So Devi, if you have any more points you want to add, if not, we'll end the class here. Any more points you want to add? If not, we'll end the class here.
So then there is no question of not getting the Nava Nava Rasa. But if you are not engaged, there is no question.
So you can get Nava Nava Rasa. You just have to, if you're not getting Nava Nava Rasa, in spite of doing all these activities, that means that you're not focused on these activities. Your mind is going elsewhere. You have to, yata nischalati manas chanchalamas from whatever and wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly bring it back under the control of itself. So you got to bring your mind in for a landing. Your mind is flying all over the universe, thinking about this, thinking about that. You got to say, okay, mind, now, as poet Govindadas says, Bhajahu re mana Srinandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. My dear mind, now you must engage yourself in the devotional service of the divine son of Nanda Maharaj. So that is your theme song now, Bhargavi. Bhajahu re mana Srinandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. You have to follow the teaching of Govindadas and bring your mind back to Krishna, and then you will get that taste, and then the material taste will fade away into insignificance.
When we come to India, we would like to see you.
And we come to India, Guru Maharaj says we want to see you. We're coming to Vrindavan. Actually, this weekend we're going to be in Copenhagen, and next week we will be in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So you come to Vrindavan, Guru Maharaj wants to preach to you and get you tasting Nava Nava Rasa. Everybody else is invited too to come to Vrindavan. We'll be there for about 2 weeks. And we're going to probably arrive a week from, on Tuesday. A week from tomorrow we'll be in Vrindavan. Everybody's welcome to come. We're going to have some wonderful parikamas. We can have a wonderful kirtan on the Jamuna. We have all kinds of wonderful ecstatic activities. So everyone come to Vrindavan. Take leave from your office. Come to Vrindavan. If you're in America, get on the plane. Everyone's welcome to come from all over the world. Australia, Malaysia, Canada, South America. Everybody's invited to come to Vrindavan, take a leave, and come to Vrindavan and be with us for a couple of weeks starting next Tuesday. Jai. Śrimadh Bhagwatam ki jai. Yantaraj Śrimadh Bhagwatam ki jai. Gora Premanandi. Anybody who wants a copy of the lecture, just let me know and I'll email it to you.